Monday, September 27th.
Yes.
In advanced class, and we're going to be going over a thing here in just a moment. We've handed out shirts to those kids who ordered them. We'll talk more about the shirts here in a second. Missed homework. We tortured kids from there. Missing homework-wise. In case you are unaware, a lot of you guys have been gaining points because every week you don't lose points, you gain points, and so it goes up. But every time if you lose points, like being on your iPad right now, like the 3 kids who choose lose points that way, then you stop gaining points, and then it goes back down to like the losing points thing. But every week that you manage to not lose points, you gain them. And so in this class, like half of you are currently gaining like 5 B points every week, because you've gone 5 weeks without losing points, and so then at the end of the week, if you've not done anything to lose them, you get an automatic 5 added to whatever you had the previous week. Drawback is, if you miss homework assignments and stuff like that, then you lose points, and once you lose points, it resets you back to 0, and then you have to start gaining points again. If you want to check your points, that's fine. Since you asked right now, I don't have to charge and be as mean to you. Weekly calendar thing over there, we do have a quiz. So we have quiz coming up again Friday of this week. So years ago, talking to students, conversation I had with them because they didn't want me to do homework all the time. I said, well, I still have to make sure that you guys are learning. So they came up with the idea of doing a quiz every week as opposed to doing lots of homework each week. And so it becomes that balance of, we could get rid of quiz, then I'd go back to giving you guys more homework assignments. And so the idea was getting rid of the homework and then doing the quiz. And the good news is for you guys did well on the quiz. Like our average grade on the quiz last week was like an A- overall. Oh, wow. And there were several questions that no one in this class or third period got wrong. So it's almost like some of you guys are becoming smarter. And those of you who did well on quiz, you get out of the homework this week. It is my reward to those of you who did well on quiz that we'll get to here in just a second also. Air Clay.
What does well mean?
We're going to talk about that in a second. That's why I didn't want to give away the number yet, because it takes away the fun. And then to there. And then. As far as the Spirit Wiki thing goes, it gets you house points, which I'll be talking more about here in a moment. Tomorrow is going to be the college day. You can't wear a hat for college day, I don't think. I mean, you're welcome to try. But again, grumpy teachers may yell at you if you try to do hat thing. It's more like sweatshirts and shirts and stuff like that. I'm all for supporting rebelliousness. So if you guys try to wear a hat, you might as well see how long you can get away with it until people yell at you. If you want to go as far as those lines go. Wednesday is the FJH day, where if you ordered a hero shirt, that counts as FJH. If you're on a team here, tennis, volleyball, stuff like that, that counts as points. If you're not on a team and you did not order one of our shirts, you just have to wear dominant red and black. So I can tell it is a definite red and black thing that you are wearing. As long as you wear the definite red and black, then you should be good to go. Hang on one second. My child, home children, give me a moment. And we're back. Sorry, I was helping my child at home. Wednesday, make sure you wear dominant red and black if you're going to be dressing up as far as that goes, so I can tell. Thursday, dominant yellow. Then Friday, Twinsy Day, where make sure I see a picture of you and other person, and you should be good to go, regardless of whatever your particular zodiac sign may be. Jack.
I don't have yellow clothes, period.
Then you won't be dressing up on Thursday. That's easy to figure out.
Just draw the yellow on your arm.
Yes, that's not going to work. She said be a globetrotter. Sorry. And then
Globetrotters?
I agree. Let's see, for you guys, we should be good because now we've solved the rest of our. I know you guys struggled on Thursday with the whole being able to see the video, so I've uploaded it officially on there for those of you who need to see it. Tiffy.
What is the number 3 for plot? What is the middle thing for plot?
For plot?
Yes.
I don't remember because I didn't tell anyone. I made them figure it out on their own.
Oh.
So I don't have one to give you on that one.
That's so rude.
I know. How dare I make you guys use your own brains?
Yeah, how dare you.
So here is your new IXL. It is B.2. It has been officially assigned to you. It is going to be about story themes. So like being able to figure out whatever it was, the Boy Meets World was about staying in school. It's that same idea. If you scored a 22 or higher, so a 22 or 24 on last Friday's quiz, congratulations. You don't have to do the homework. The homework is now optional to you. If you don't remember your score, take a look at it now. Go take a look at Canvas. I mean, in theory, I assumed you all memorized it because, you know, everyone loves about grading. Yay! So, if you are a kid that got under the 22, then you have to do this homework. It is officially assigned to you. If you got under or above the 22, yours is done. So you don't even have to worry about taking it and nothing to worry about at all. If you got a 22, that's why it says a 22. And then from there, you can do it for extra credit. So if you got the 22 or 24 and you want to turn it in anyway, that's the bottom bit. You can get extra B points or just extra credits. Willie J?
Is it the short story quiz?
Number 3, the one we just took.
Yes.
And Omar.
Since I did it late.
Yours is automatically you have to do the homework. That's the drawback to turning it in late. Yeah. Good job. Next time we'll turn it on time. I don't have to be as mean to you.
Wait, okay.
So there.
I have a question, but I gotta remember it real quick.
So those of you who want to, you can still do it. And then if you submit it, just make sure you let me know that you're turning it in either for extra credit or for extra B points. And so either one is fine for me. It just goes in as homework extra credit, or you can turn it in and you can get the B points. The numbering is a little bit different because you can't get like 12 points, but you can get up to 5 if you go all the way up to the 100. And for some of you, if you find IXL easy, go for it. Get the extra points. If you find IXL to be a pain in your patootie, don't go for it, and you get a chance to skip it. Mamel. Well, you can either go to Canvas or Skyward. Both of them will have it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun. Yes.
Okay, so I took the quiz twice.
Way to brag.
Okay.
Was that it?
Wait, is that okay?
No.
Oh,
You
it
have 2
would be.
attempts.
Yeah. So does it count?
It takes
on your
whatever the
first
highest
attempt
one.
or the second?
The highest one.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, both my attempts were okay. They
Okay,
were
then you're
both-
good to go. All right. Then for the rest of you who do have to do it, it is due Friday. So as long as it's turned in by Friday night, you're fine. Again, I'm not math. My goal is to give you the entire week to get it done. As long as it's turned in by Saturday morning, then you should be fine. I'm not going to count it against you. If you're turning it in for extra credit, have it turned in by Friday night. Same thing with extra B points. Questions as far as that goes. Ariana again.
So this is like a kind of an off-topic question. Are you twinning with anyone? Like-
Am I? Yeah, on Friday? Yeah. The teachers I eat lunch with, Mr. Sturgeon and Fossil and Stone, most likely.
But who? Like one
All
person?
3 of them. All 4. We're all going to, yeah. We're like
Can you name them again?
Mr. Sturgeon, Mr. Fossil, and Mr. Stone.
Why don't you
Right. Gitch.
So like, if you do the extra credit IXL,
Huh?
could you choose if you want B points
Uh-huh.
or extra credit?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You just have to, when you submit it in like a little commenty thing, you just go typey into that.
Okay.
And then you're good to go. If you don't go typey, then I get to choose. Okay.
Oh,
Yeasies. Owen.
Can I go get my paper?
Yeah. Well, actually, just take all your stuff. You're going to go out to the hallway because we're going to go over the quiz now. Then you should be good to go from there. All right. So one moment, we're going to have to kick out this child so he can go finish quizzy thing, and then we're going to do talkie to the rest of you as far as quiz thing goes from there. And you can leave all the other stuff there. You just need the iPad.
Oh.
There you go. Hey, as we continue. So overall, you guys did well. Quiz-wise, we're not going to go over a question like we did last time, because this time we don't need to, because the average grade on this quiz was like an A-. It's almost like you guys learned or something. There's only like 2 questions I'm going to go over with that kids struggled, but for the most part, grades were way different than the previous ones. So on that one, if you were a kid that had a small handful of the ones who got less than a 17, you can fix it and turn it in and get up to a 17 if you want to. So if for some reason you really did not do well and you got less than a 17, you are more than welcome to fix it and it'll raise your grade up to a 17. If you got higher than a 17, then you don't have to worry about it whatsoever. From looking at it, were there any questions that you guys struggled with or that you thought were unfair that you remember? I thought if I put them up there, it might remind you of them to try and help you out in some way. And if not, that's fine. I figured I'd give you guys a chance. Shirley?
I think it had to do with the Charles story. It was what
That's not a question.
He's getting
the best comparison stories. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
the down here, the Charles and the cat one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright,
that
we
was
can-
tough.
Don't,
I figured it.
I don't think that's one I have to go over. We'll see here in a second. We'll find out in a moment. And if so, I have to look it up. Eric Clay?
Internal conflict?
The import internal conflict from Boy World?
Yeah.
Alright, that's fine. Gidge?
3, like element speaking.
That's actually what we are going to talk about. That was the one that kids struggled with the most. That was the one. Our lowest percentage was a 77%. which is way better than the previous week, but that was the toughest question overall for kids. And then the second lowest ones were 11 and 12, but they're the ones that kids struggled with. By struggled, 90% of you got it right, which means all of like 6 kids got it wrong. So go you guys. Now here's my next question. Of the 12, that's 3 of them. That leaves 9 of them left. Of those 9, you guys got a number of them perfect, meaning not a single kid got them wrong at all. Any guess as to how many of those 9? Willie J?
I think it would be number 8.
No, how many of them? Give me a number between 1 and 9.
Okay.
How many of them do you think we did well on?
I'm gonna go with 4.
We'll take that number. All right. Starting at 4, do you think we did better than 4 or worse than 4?
Better.
And so hang on. Or you can go like right at 4, I guess. Some of you guys say we did worse than 4. There's no way that there were 4 questions. There's only 1, 2, or 3 that we did perfect scores on. All right. How many of you guys say exactly 4 and Willie J hit it?
Oh yeah, I hit it.
How many of you guys say more than 4 and that was way too low and we did better than that?
No, I don't agree with that.
Those of you with your hands up right now, good job. It was 6.
What?
Half the quiz, you guys got perfect scores on across the board.
What were the percentages on the other question that people got wrong?
Still not bad. In the 90s. So like this one, I think 2 kids missed. And then like that one was like, I think comes out to like 4 kids missed. And I was like, so overall, way better. I don't know if the stories were easier or if you guys just got smarter at some point.
The stories are easier.
Were they easier?
No, this
Yeah.
really
No.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, given it was Black Cat is not an easy story to do, but it was about a guy dying. In fact, apparently you guys just like animal death. And apparently as soon as
Hey!
I'm not the one that
I
did
just
go
love
on
death in
it.
general.
Not animal death, people death.
Oh, how embarrassing on my part.
I will be
Trubisky?
honest, I agree
I
with
think it's more that
Eliana on
you
this.
read the stories to us and some people didn't read the other stories.
But I guess I did read the other one. Did I read Charles? I read Charles.
Yeah.
And then the subreddit. And Miss Knight's read it.
Alright.
So we were like an
Why didn't the subreddit?
But I don't know if that
because
because she can't.
But I didn't read Boy World
Yeah,
to
and all
I
of
never-
those are
I never paid
But
attention
it's
to
a
it.
video.
Yeah,
You
but
have to
we
read
got
the
video.
video.
It's different.
Is it was? I mean, the Charles is the lowest one.
Yeah, it's like a
The
TV
Charles
show.
one was
They're
funny,
Alright.
the Boy World was a video, and the one had people death and animal death.
Well, we'll see how this week goes, because this week is going to have some stories that also deal with death. And so we'll see how stuff like that goes and help you out. Alright, so number 3 was the one that was our lowest one at the 77%. So it said from the Black Cat, which these 7 elements that describe, we discover the speaker in Black Cat is telling us what happened to him personally. Eliminating real quick. What's the definition of external conflict?
Something versus something.
Is this thing's fighting?
No.
What's the definition of characters?
Characters.
So that kind of is telling us who is in the story. Point of view is,
How we see.
so that kind of tells us how we see it. Did you get it submitted on?
Yeah.
It's submitted? You can go back and kind of see what there's on it submitted.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And what's the definition of setting?
When and
Is
where?
that when and where at all?
Not really.
No. Theme is?
Intern.
What we learned.
Is that about learning? Internal conflict is?
I'm just
Decision?
answering.
Is that just?
Something or
And
something.
then plot. So what it came down to is really you had 3 of them that you could kind of go between. Plot, maybe. Point of view, maybe. Characters, maybe. Those are the 3 I could see kids are arguing about in one way or the other. What I was trying to get to on this one was, how do we see this particular story is the main character telling us through his own eyes. And if it's the main character telling us through his own eyes, what answer is that going to be?
Point of view.
So that's what I was going for, is trying to get you to get to the point of view mark on that one.
Yeah.
This was, because by the way, it tells me at the end of campus quizzes, like how many kids answered each of the different answers as I went through and did them. So at least no one did external conflict, but we did have a kid who chose theme, a kid who chose internal. And yes, on my end, I can click that and it tells me exactly what names they are. So I can always go clicky clicky and then bring up those names. No, I'm not doing it now. My goal is not to
What's
shame the child.
discrimination index?
I don't know. I've never figured it out. I even clicked on the little information button and it's like, I cannot figure out what it's babbling about, so I just ignore it. So it's like, something apparent then compared to this other song, like, boring. So I just ignore it. I pay attention to those bits.
Sounds like you.
I know, boring. The other part was the Charles and the Black Cat, which was 12 that you guys had mentioned. Which of these is the most accurate comparison of both of those stories? On here, both have a male character getting punished for poor
Yeah, I didn't
choices.
choose that the first time.
The thing that a lot of kids went for was this bottom one. The trick is, I put the word exclusively in there to help you out. Do you know what exclusively means?
No.
Only.
I don't.
It means the synonym for only, meaning both stories are only set in the main character's house. Charles, where does it take place at the end? At school when she goes to confront the teacher. So that's why it couldn't be this one. That whole percentage thing, it was like most kids chose this one, then a handful of kids chose this one. So it was like, that's why I put exclusively in there to try and help you guys out. That was my way of trying to be nice to help you, but some kids just didn't.
That's okay.
So, your guys' percentages. What is one of the things I've been beating into you guys this whole year?
Don't be an idiot.
That's the second thing I've been beating into you. What leads, directions, which leads into the not being an idiot thing. So, here's your percentages. I'm going to show you my regular class's percentages. They take a different quiz, given because they cover different stories, but I still write all the same questions. So they're
There
similar.
was this kid on my bus who was trying to do it on the bus.
So, how many 100% did you guys have? How many did they have?
Zero.
How many in the 90s did they have?
Zero.
So, our issue has come down to my other classes. It's still very much a we don't like to read directions thing. So that's where we're starting to get this whole separation struggle where you guys tended to read directions. So go you guys.
Yeah,
We are
there's a reason they're not in the
advanced.
advanced.
Now the good news is those numbers are still a lot higher than the previous week. So we're slow. That's how learning works.
Well, the previous week.
No, it was mostly in the 40s and 50s.
Oh my
Yeah.
Oh.
They are kind of anti-direction-y thingy. They're very much words, eeny, meeny, miny, this, and they just been going through kids nowadays.
I like to go
I never.
So, another quiz coming up this week. The one this week, well, again, is going to cover our story we're going to do called Landlady. You're going to read another story called Priscilla about a girl who gets in a fight and beats the pooey out of a dude. And then we're also going to talk about irony, which we're going to spend a lot of time tomorrow doing. So we'll throw some irony questions in there from that one. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I can keep giving you guys less homework and you guys keep doing well on quizzes and we'll count it as a win. This thing. House points.
What?
So here's the oh, now you can put iPads away. We're done with all those things. It should be good so you wouldn't have to yell at us. So we stole this from Harry Potter years ago.
Sounds quite a lot like it.
Why?
What are you?
We're Slytherin. We're all Slytherin. Which we'll talk about. Oh, absolutely. Down my excited shoulder. The way this works is years ago, we used to have arguments between me and then the teachers on the Stars and the Globetrotters about whose team was the best. Obviously, we knew it was my team, but they were really confused and thought it was their team. So we decided to come up with a method to measure it, hence house points. And the way it works now is you guys can score these points that we use to compete against each other. If we win at the end of the year, whichever team wins, they get to have this giant trophy that's like this big. I'm going to bring it in tomorrow. And then we get to put it up there on the shelf and we get to brag about it and stuff like that. Next year, you guys get to come back and take pictures with it if you want. But the main thing you get to do is make fun of the other teams and brag when you're sitting in a class with them next year. You're like, what team are you? Stars? I'm sorry. You're not on my Stars. And you get to sass them and stuff like that. So the way we score points with the next thing we get a chance to get into. And yes, the Heroes team, we're Slytherin. Globetrotters, they're Gryffindor. The Stars are
Why did they
Hufflepuff.
They should be
Hufflepuff.
Down, Tiger. And then there is, or used to be, a fourth team who was here and then moved to Riverside. And they were Ravenclaw for a short period of time.
What were they called?
They were the CIA was their team name.
That's
and
not
CIA.
fair.
Okay, down, yelling at me less. I didn't name them. By the way, the reason we chose our own groups, and so I definitely called dibs on Slytherin first. And for those of you who are not aware of the actual books and are just kind of aware of the movies, Slytherin's not evil. In the books, what Slytherin is they don't put up with weakness. And it was just over the years, it got manipulated into evil. But Slytherin was established on the idea that weakness holds you back, and you want to try and get rid of weakness in people. That's my goal. I get rid of weakness in children. And so a lot of them might come across as evil, but it comes down to just helping you guys get rid of the weak ones. We eat them. And then you have the Gryffindors who think they're all that in a bag of chips, which is just like the Globetrotters who think they're all that. And Harry Potter, the biggest whiner in the world. Globetrotters, biggest whiners in the world. Works out perfectly. And then you have the team that no one remembers, Hufflepuff, just like the Stars. And so it goes along the same lines where people in the Harry Potter books, no one really hates the Hufflepuffs. There's always the Gryffindors and the Slytherin fighting, and they're like, what team are you, Hufflepuff? Oh, okay. And the same thing here. Stars, no one really fights the Stars. They just exist, and everything's happy.
Yeah.
Jack?
Who has the cup right now?
Currently it is the Globetrotters, which we'll get into more about in a moment.
That's not fair.
If that upsets you, there's an easy solution. It's called winning.
But how do you earn
Going to win.
points?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Oh,
Joey?
stop talking to me.
Don't teams work like either you stay in the team you're in throughout Fisher's Junior High, or do you switch teams?
Once you're a hero, you're always a hero. Once you're a Globetrotter, you're always a Globetrotter. It never changes. That goes all the way to high school. When kids come back as high schoolers, we still refer to them as heroes, Globetrotters. Now, you won't get to have me as a teacher next year. You have to move on to other teachers, but the 8th grade teams don't really exist, so you get to remain part of your 8th. Like this year, 8th graders still earn us points. And so even though they're no longer considered officially part of us, they still earn points as 8th graders. So on the way down to science, there's these things that you can see sitting out in the hallway. They're right when you turn the corner down the science hallway. It's going to have upcoming events where we'll tell you where you can get house points for going to them. We have one coming up this Thursday, which is the volleyball game. If you go to the volleyball game, we score house points for every kid that goes to it. If you're on the volleyball team, you've already scored points. You scored 5 points for being on the volleyball team. Anyone that goes and sits in the audience or the crowd, they get 2 points for going to the game. And so we will do those like now that we're starting to establish it, every couple of weeks we're going to find a game. You go to it, I will be there and I just write down names. We score points for you getting a chance to go to it. If you were on any team this year, sports team, you scored points. You got 5 points for being tennis, football, cheerleading, golf, whatever it was, you scored points for it.
Oh, yeah.
Also, if you were dressing up today, that got us a house point. If you dress up all week, we get a total of 5 house points. If you go to the thing, if you're part of K-pop club, that gets you points for it, and you get 3 points for being part of that. So as long as you are part of these things, which I'll pop up here in a moment, you get points for them. Hang on, Greg. And then here we'll have our rankings, and so this was I took it when we were in the top, and then you have the Stars team and the Globetrotters team, and then every couple of weeks we rotate them and then move them around and stuff like that. And then over here, we rank our 7th graders from whoever has the most points, and we'll take like the top 10 kids on there. As of now, I think the most points you can get by the end of this week is like 18-ish. If you are on a sports team, if you dress up all 5 days, that's 10. And then if you go to the game, it's another 2 points. And then if you're on a club, that's another 3 points. And there's like one more thing out there you could do that. And so you can like gain so many points. Gray?
So if you're in theater, can you get points?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're part of the fall play, absolutely you get points for that too. Yep, that's 5 points also. And then there's also in that same hallway, you're going to see these things up there. Those are the teams that won and then the year they won. There's one more up there because I took this 2 years ago. We didn't do it last year because of COVID, and we didn't get to do it the year before that because half the year got stolen because of COVID. So 2 years we've been missing it. The Globetrotters had won the year before that, and so there's actually one more Globetrotter up there. So they're technically ahead of us. 4 wins to our 3 to 1 of the Stars. Again, if that upsets you, the solution is win. It's an easy solution. Yes, my previous year kids were losers. Don't be losers. Don't teach everyone about theme. Here's how you can score points going through it. Things up there, and so anything that you do that you join that does good things for our school gets you points. If you're in choir, band, orchestra, we get points. Now, not for being in it, for getting a solo. So when you guys have the shows, if you get a solo at the show, that gets it to you. If you do ISMA and you get golds, you get points for that one also. Honor Society, later this year we'll talk about. And then I'm going to jump to this
Charger challenge.
Charger Challenge. This is a bonus thing that we do at the end of each 9 weeks. Each team, Globetrotters, Stars, and Heroes, pick 15 kids to compete in an after-school battle to win points. And it has things like dodgeball, it has puzzles, it has trivia, and then we compete into it. And if you win, one, you get your picture taken and you become the background on my laptop. And then also you get buttons and you get your name permanently added to the hallway on your way down to science. You'll see this list of things. Those are all the kids who have ever won the Charger Challenge, and you become a permanent part of our school.
Yeah, look at those.
Take off!
You know how many